all. Welcome again to Selenium with C Sharp training. So let's get started. So last time we have already installed Visual Studio. Okay, so let's see how to write it down the Hello World program in C Sharp. So let's understand this Visual Studio. So when we try to open this or launch this Visual Studio, right, we are getting an options, right? So I already created a different projects, right? So let's create a new project, right? So this is what the startup screen. So we have to go and create a new project. When I click on the new project, right, we are getting a various options over here, right? Whether you want to go with the console app, that is a C sharp. You can see here, it's a short, it's C sharp is there or the C hash. When you go with the console app, that is a Visual Basic, right? So let's go and try with this, the console app, right? So let me just click on the next. So when I click on the next, I have to enter the project name, correct, and the by default location and the solution name. Now there are two things. One is solution name and the project name. Now what is the difference between these two, right? So project is a part of solution, correct? So solution is a collection of projects, right? So solution is the main. And then inside this, we have a different projects. We can create a multiple projects inside that, right? So let's create a project name. So I can give the project name is, you know, uh, first project. Okay, don't give the space, right? And this is solution, so I can give the solution. Okay, whether you want to get both the the together, like the place solution and the project in the same directory, you can create. Otherwise, it will create a separate directories. Okay. So this is all about the how to create a project. So let me just click on the next, right? You have to select that .NET 6.0 and then click on create. So it will create a new project. And by default, when it will create a project, right, you can see that it will create a project with one statement. Okay, so it will create a the statement actually. So that is a console dot write and then so let's see that. Okay, so hello world. So let me just run this. Okay, so whatever it is by default is there, right? So it is in the console, right? Console is nothing but it will open the another window and it will display that output. Okay, right? So there are two different if you check it out, this playback buttons, here it is a project and here it is in the start without debugging. There are two start buttons are there, right? So one is without debugging and with debugging. Okay, here it is a debugging is there, so you have to click on this and we can check whether we are getting this hello world output, right? So this is what this is with debug and this is without debug. Now see the difference between these two. Okay, right? So when I click on this the with debug, right, it will open the another window, that is a console, right? Command prompt, and you can see that it's a hello world is printed, right? And here it's when debugging stop. So means we are getting something, the debugging, that option automatically close the console when the debugging is stopped. So we have to go and enable that settings, right? That we will do later on, step by step we'll do it. So this is how you have to run this and without debug. Okay, without debugging. So let me see that. So we are not getting any the debug option over here, right? It will directly print that hello world, right? Now here we don't have any kind of the what it is called as a public static void main method or something, right? Without main, it is in the executed, right? We don't have the class name or something, right? So by default, it's created a program .cs. CS is a C sharp. Its extension is C hash or the C sharp, right? Okay. So this is a by default, right? So what I want to do is I want to write some code, right? I have to create some the classes, then the namespace. So let's see that what is the namespace is all about, what is this class is all about, and then I want to print my own customized message. Correct? And this is our first program. So let's try to understand this. And even sometimes you people will get it something called as a the template also, right? You will get it a template. So let's start. So what I want to do is you will get the templates, right? So let me just delete it out and let's start with the in the scratch itself. So first is using in the system. Okay, like we import something, right? So import Java packages and all. So similarly using a system. Inside the system we have a console class. So console.writeLine is a method, right? So everything is available in the system. Now, next is what I want to do is I want to get into the namespace. Correct. Namespace is like a package. Correct. So we have already created a first project, right? So the first project is the namespace. So namespace, correct. And then you have to give the space its first, the project, right? This is a namespace. And when you enter this namespace, you have to give the curly braces, opening and closing curly. Inside the namespaces, we have a class, and the class name by default it is a program. Okay, it is a program. We will create another class also later on, right? And inside this class, execution starts with the main method, right? So we have to go with the static. Void is the return type. Main is the name of the method, and then string, array type, and arguments. Okay, it's similar to like a public static void main. Okay, so M is capital. Right, what I want to do is I want to print console, C is capital, console dot write line, right? And then I have to say that welcome to C sharp. And each and every statement is terminated with semicolon. See, is that clear to everyone? Right? So what we have to give? We have to give the namespace, correct, using system. Inside the system, we have this console and all, right, classes. Okay. Then the namespace like a package, we created a first project name of that, and then inside this we created a class, right? And the class contains this void main method. So what is static, right? That we will see when we go with the object oriented programming concepts. Okay, let's understand the basic fundamentals of C sharp, right? So let me just run it. Okay, if I go and run this, without debugging, so let me just save this file and then try to run it. Okay, and then you have to see that we are getting a welcome to C sharp. Correct, welcome to C sharp. And this is how we have to write it down in our first program. So hope that everybody understood this, right? Okay. Now the next is what I am going to create is I am going to create another class. Okay, let's create another class and then simply write it down console.writeLine. So which statement will execute, that we have to check. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new item. Okay, add new item, and you have to select a class and you have to give the class name. Say for example, this is it's a program or program one, right? Okay, I can give the program one or yeah, program one dot cs. Anything you can give any name, right? Let me just add this. When I click on this add, and let me just remove everything. I don't want anything, right? Let me just write it down the console, right? Console dot write line is the method and say welcome to program one. Welcome to program one. And let's execute it. Let's see that. Now here we have two different in the C sharp programs. One is the program.cs and program1.cs. Correct? These are the two things. One is a program.cs and program1.cs. So let's go and run it. So we will get it the output that is welcome to program 1. Not that welcome to C sharp. Okay, remember this. Right? So this is how we have to execute it. Now, yes. Now I want to execute this in the program1.cs. How to execute this? I want to get this output, Selenium with C sharp. But still I am getting welcome to program one. So how to do this? Correct. Okay. So now you have to select this, the program, and you can see that the C compiler is there, right? And the program one, even C compiler is there. So it gives the preference to this one, and it will execute this welcome to program one. So let me just make it this as a none. Okay, I don't want to compile this one. So save this file, right? Let me just go to the program.cs and let me just execute it with debug mode. Okay, let's see that welcome to C sharp is coming. Yeah, you people can see that now it's coming welcome to C sharp, right? And this is what your first program is, right? So you people can do with me. You can try it out this, the simple program, right? So first we have to launch the Visual Studio, create a solution, create a project with solution, right? And then you have to write it down a very simple program that is a console.writeLine. So console is a class name, writeLine is a method, and each and every statement is terminated with this semicolon. Okay, so hope that everybody understood this. Okay, right? And you people have to do a lot of practice, correct? Okay, so thank you for watching and keep learning and happy learning. Thank you.